Hello, I'm Alex. I'm the creative producer here at Sangam. We're in the middle of our artist takeover. So last week we had Lucy Lee. This week we've got Janan Sathyendran and we've got Kamala Devam, who is with me here, sitting just to have a bit of a chat about stuff. Hi.
Hi.
So there's so many things we could talk about, but I guess, do you want to tell us a bit about who you are and where you've come from and what art it is that you make?
Okay. I was raised in California, born into a very orthodox Hindu community, and thus I started learning Bharatanatyam at a very young age. And being born Hindu, being born with the name Kamala, it sort of opened up the ways of learning the Indian arts from sort of a very authentic standpoint. So we would learn also how to play the veena, the South Indian sort of counterpart to the sitar. We learned Sangeetam, which is Carnatic singing, and then also Bharatanatyam. And through that experience of learning Bharatanatyam under my gurus, the Kuni Ramans, and they're from Kalakshetra in the south of India, I just became very enamored with the discipline and the growth as a teenager of my sort of relationship to myself through dance, to the point at which I wanted to become a professional. And because there weren't a lot of opportunities to survive off of a classical Indian dance experience in the States, I took up contemporary dance. And so I've used both of those languages to define my career in the UK and also in America.
And so you're here now with us here. Do you want to tell us a bit about kind of what, so people know we're about halfway through Kamala's week here, and it's been really interesting to be able to come in and just, I'd love you to talk a bit about working with a CAT student in here as well, but do you want to tell us a bit about kind of how it's going and what you're doing and what you're creating here?
Yes. So I thought early on in the year that I should start to explore what it's like to choreograph within the Bharatanatyam idiom. And because all of my choreography to this point has been contemporary based or contemporary South Asian based, but never really trying to figure out what are the rules of composition within Bharatanatyam. So, and I think I'm missing a trick by not showing people, what do I look like as a classical dancer? Because it really is my mother tongue. So when I saw that the application was open to have the artist take over here, I just thought, okay, I'm gonna try for it. And so I brought together all these different musicians. One is the cellist named Danny Keane, who works with Sushila Raman. Also his mate, who's on the dance scene as a mridangamist, a South Indian drummer, Prasanna Devarajan, to come together and make sort of a trio where there's live music on stage by them, using their Western and classical Indian and Western classical experience and world touring, and to be sort of playing off of each other live on stage, but also then to accompany something that's quite traditional in a sense. So this week I've been working with a CAT student named Ashani Ghosh, who is a student of Chitralekha Bolar in Birmingham. And Ashani and I met each other in Birmingham through the CAT scheme, and she's just one of these young Bharatanatyam dancers who's also adept at ballet and contemporary, and is one of those few young people who want to go into it as a professional dancer. And it's being supported by her parents in that way. So I wanted to continue to give her opportunities to evolve as a professional, and invited her in as a work experience for the day. And it's wonderful for me as a choreographer to sit out, of course, on my fat bum and watch somebody else do my work.
I mean, it was great to be able to come in here as well and see, somebody that young who working at Bharatanatyam, but also challenging those boundaries and growing and pushing stuff and doing stuff. It was great.
And having a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there was a lot of laughter that I saw during that point. So can you tell us a bit about the actual piece at all? Any more about it?
Yes. So I'm focusing on trying to create a pure dance piece, because there's a storytelling aspect to Bharatanatyam. There's also a very pure dance aspect to it. So I thought, as my first sort of challenge for myself, I'm just going to stick to the nritta or pure dance aspect of Bharatanatyam. So I'm looking to create a jati swaram, where there are segments of dances to a jati, which is like percussion that's said with the mouth. So and And so I'm finding ways of putting dance to that kind of vocal percussion that's also on the mridangam. And also there are lines that I've given my cellist, which are called swaras. And that sort of brings out a different quality of dance. So there's jatis and there's swaras, and together they're jati swaram. In theory.
Simple as that.
Yeah.
And so how far, so obviously we've got a big sharing of all of the work that's happening at the Artist Takeover here at Sangam on 16th of September. How far along do you think you'll be? Where do you think you'll be in the kind of process? Because this is very early days, isn't it? Kind of putting stuff together.
Absolutely, it's very early days. So I'm trying to not think too much about the finished product at this point, because it is my first investigation. I really am trying to keep it as an investigation and experimentation in choreography, in Bharatanatyam choreography. So I'm trying the bog standard, setting everything to, the obvious beats. I'm trying what does it look like if it's just completely opposite of the music, things that we do in contemporary choreography all the time. Also looking at individual steps and trying to mess them up in ways that uses space and time in a way that I would choreograph contemporary choreography. I'm just trying a lot of things and seeing what works and what doesn't.
Great.
And I honestly don't think that I'm gonna find everything that works and what doesn't by the end of tomorrow. But I think it's a good starting point. So I'll be showing those starting points on Saturday.
Lovely. And so we found out as well, halfway through your kind of time here, that you're actually coming back in October, because you're in the Magic Fish, which is with us half-term week 24th, Tuesday 24th October, I think it's here at Sangam. Can you tell us anything about that? Or is this kind of very early days for that as well for you?
We start going into rehearsal for that with Mayuri Bunam, Atma Dance Company, next week. And I haven't worked with Mayuri since 2013, possibly, even 2012. So, and I've worked with her as a dancer, I've worked with her as a rehearsal director, and so this time I'm going to be playing the main role of the Magic Fish. And it should be fascinating. Her stuff is really hybrid, and I think there's a beatboxer in there, and she'll be dancing herself, and it's very theatrical. And as a maker of dance, I love to enjoy continuing dancing for other people. It's a massive part of my education as a choreographer as well. And also, I'm just a physical dancer. I want to be physical, So when she asked me, I thought, is this the project for me? Because I have to be really choosy with my time now as a director of Kamala Company. And I thought, I've never done a show for kids, and it's really hands-on, and I'm fascinated by the experience. So I'm excited to be doing it in your halls.
Yeah, we're looking forward to having you back here. It's been great having you here this week, taking over the Ganges. So, if people want to come and see Kamala's work, then September 16th, we've got our Takeover Scratch Night or Magic Fishes with us in half-term. And we'll stop taking up your time in your rehearsal room now and let you get on taking over the space.
Thank you.